Hey.
Children growing, women producing, men walking inside the
You're listening to the home of dubstep.
Let's get down to it.
Let's get on.
I'ma make you loyal. Feel about that girl.
My music. The music is awesome.
Let's go.
The number one station.
Anytime.
All the time. I listen all day.
1, 2, 3.
All the girls at the party, look at that body, shaking that thing like you never did see. Got a nice package already.
You're in the mix.
Let's go.
Variety is a big part of our presentation.
Balance in an array of choices is what we offer on Royal FM 95.1.
I really love to be alone without all the ache and pain and the April showers. But it ain't long before I long for you, like a ray of hope coming through the blue. When it all gets dark and then the whole thing falls apart, I guess it doesn't really matter about the rain, 'cause we'll get through it anyway. We'll get up and start again, 'cause we could be lifted, lifted, lifted. We could be lifted from the shadow, lifted. Oh, we could be lifted up today, lifted all the way. Undisturbable, the peace we found in a bright blue space up above the clouds, where everything is.
The United Nations Children's Fund, thus UNICEF, says 47.4% of children in Nigeria live in a household that spends less than 400 naira per day. It is also noted that children in Nigeria are denied at least 3 out of 7 children right to benefit. Why is that so? The multidimensional child poverty analysis using multidimensional overlapping deprivation analysis approach reveals that approximately 54% of children in Nigeria are multidimensionally poor by facing at least 3 deprivations across 7 dimensions of child rights, including nutrition, healthcare, education, water, sanitation, adequate housing, and information, the statement read. Not my own words, but then these are the deprivation of some rights of children. And again, multidimensional poverty in Nigeria is more than prevalent in the rural areas than the urban areas. And there are also high state disparity ranging from the likes of 14.5% to 81.5%. That's the range, the disparity range in some states. I wouldn't want to mention the certain state. And this is where the implementation of child right law has to come to bear. Now, the Child Rights Act 2023 is a law that guarantees the rights of all children in Nigeria, makes provision for the right to name, right to survival and development, right to parental care, protection, maintenance, right to health and health services, right of a child to free, compulsory and universal primary education, among many other rights that we have. Well, how well is this implemented? That's a question to you and myself today. And again, the United Nations International Children Education Fund, that's UNICEF, has revealed that at least 31 states of Nigeria are so far enacted the equivalent of a Child Rights Act, while the 5 states are yet to domesticate the law. Adamawa, Bauchi, Gombe, Kano, and Zamfara. Although there has been a certain adjustment to it, to the fact that 34 now have enacted it, but this was towards the end of the year 2022. Now 34 states, as I said earlier, of the 36 states of the Federation are said to have fully domesticated the Child Rights Act, and we are hoping that the few states left will enact this soon and follow suit. And again, insurgency has been a major cause, so that's to the development of a child, their education, and all the Child Rights Act, which are listed earlier. This is Vocal Point on Royal FM 95.1 Ilorin, and I am Omonike Babatunde. You're welcome. This is a program that comes your way every Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., where we give you insight and talk about any particular affair happening in Kwara State, in Nigeria, and even in the world at large. And today, I have my special guest in the house. I have my beautiful and handsome guest. I have 2 guests in the house today. That I have Ms. Folashade Arosiola in the house, the chairperson, Women in Politics Forum. And I also have Mr. Mohammed, better known as Baba Slum. Well, I think I have him saved on my phone as Baba Slum. So anytime he comes to me, oh, that's Baba Slum. So it's an honor to have the 2 of you in the house this morning. Thank you so much for honoring our invite.
Thank you for inviting us.
All right, kindly say hello to our listeners.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me again.
All right, thank you so much. We're going on this very short break, and when we come back, we'll start our conversation in full.
Everything is understandable. You don't have to say anything to lie. When our love runs out again, walk back down to solid ground. I wouldn't say I'm mad about the rain, but we'll get through it anyway. We'll get back to the stars again. 'Cause we could be lifted, lifted, lifted. We could be lifted from the shadow.
You're still on to Vocal Point on Royal FM 95.1 Ilorin. And as I said earlier, I still have my guest in the house, Mr. Mohammed Ataba. He is the State Coordinator for Child Protection Network, and also Ms. Folashade Arosiola, the Chairperson, Women in Politics Forum. Once again, you're welcome on the show. All right, so let's go quick to the questions we have, because we have quite a lot, and I believe over time we'll have more to say on the program. But then let's start again with the role of a child now. But then we're starting with a girl child, because I'm sure most persons will be like, why are you starting with a girl child? But then we are important in the society. I'm a girl child myself. So can you, let's talk about the role of a girl child. And because at some point in time, even the role of a woman, because it's not being talked about, being emphasized upon as much as we want it to, because oftentimes, let me not say we are being sidelined, because if we're going to talk about a child now, the focus will be on the male child, but then we need to know the major role of a girl child and women in our society. Let me throw that to, let me start with the woman in the house.
So basically, when you talk about a girl child,
Yes.
the role of the girl child is that she's expected to take care of the house,
Okay.
the chores in the house. She's expected to take care of herself.
Yeah.
She's expected to begin to prepare herself for adulthood
Okay.
and family life.
Okay.
And in doing that, she's saddled with the responsibility of being a mother, even when she is still a child. You know, so the grooming thing starts. So much expectations is expected of her. Academically, she's expected to be excellent. In terms of character, she's expected to be poised without doing anything that would disgrace the family. You understand? There's a level of decorum that she's expected to display at each given time, because that would actually say the extent of training she has understood under her mother. She's judged by that. You understand?
Yes.
And when you see a girl child that decides not to conform to the norms, people like us, then people begin to look at them and like, you understand? Because there's a stereotype that is expected, she's expected to form into a particular template. Yes. But basically, the girl child is to take care of herself first, take care of her family, and actually understudy under her mother to prepare herself for the role of being an accomplished adult when she gets up, a mother, a sister, and a fulfilled person. You understand?
Yes.
Basically.
All right. Thank you so much. And again, now let me go to Mr. Babasulom. Now, she made mention of the fact that grooming that starts from the cradle. Now, why is this so? Why does because again the grooming which starts from the cradle, I believe it's focused on the on the girl child compared to the male child, because definitely we know there are responsibilities for the male child. We know that, but then the grooming is majorly focused on the girl child. Now, why is this so? Because I want to talk from the perspective of a male, because you're a guy, so you're a man. I'm sorry. So why is it so that the grooming has to be majorly focused on the girl child?
Okay. Good morning once again. I am going to speak from the aspect of a he for she advocate.
Okay.
Not from the angle of being a man.
All right.
You know, like I believe that the gender title male does not permit you to look down on someone else. Are you getting me now?
All right.
But you see, we need to go back to how we were trained. For me, I was trained like a girl.
Okay.
I do practically whatever you think a girl can do. I was trained to know how to use my hands to ground pepper. That was the kind of setting I grew up.
Okay.
I know how to change diapers. Yes. I can train a child from a day old. Why am I saying this? Because of the kind of setting where I met myself, where you don't really define the role of anybody in the family. Everybody is busy doing one or two things. Then the people training you are preparing you for life, not where you are going to, or the role you are going to take in the future. Which most times, and then this is where the confusion always comes from. The moment a girl child is giving birth to, there's something that comes with this mentality of, oh, she's going to be somebody's wife tomorrow. What happens when she chooses not to get married? What happens when she chooses not to have children? And then you now see parents who start training a child like a married woman.
Okay.
You start hearing things like permit me to speak Yoruba.
Please go ahead.
You're going to end up in one man's house, and then when you now talk about the role of a girl child, her role is to become a mother, a wife, a sister to somebody. Nobody is thinking of the role of a girl child as being the vice president of the country. Nobody's going to train her to see how can you manage a nuclear family in case you even get to the place of position of authority. But somebody just believe, or maybe mostly everybody just believe that you would be under a man. What happens when she's the managing director of a company?
All right. Thank you so much, Babasulom. At this point in time, we still have so many, but then I want us to talk about the main issues now.
Okay.
I see we've been talking about the issues when it comes to the girl child in Nigeria. Now, you've made mention of the fact, Miss Folashade talked about the fact that it starts from grooming now. And then again, we need to talk about the gender discrimination, which is one of the things we've actually been talking about. But then I want us to pick it one after the other, but very briefly, which means I'm going to have to ask you a different one from each other. But now let's come to the the gender discrimination when it comes to an issue. Do you think there's a way that this can actually be corrected, especially when we're talking about the disparity now, which is what we're talking about? So is there a way we can actually have this rectified over time?
Yes, it can be rectified, and it actually starts from the cradle.
Okay.
It's about making, he made a point. He said when he was growing up, he was trained to actually prepare for adulthood, and not trained to prepare for a certain role. Now, you begin to groom both the boy child and the girl child as responsible people. It's not as if given a particular role, you are supposed to be in the kitchen, you are supposed to be a daddy in the making. No. Because when you now begin to, when you look at why do you have so many issues? Gender violence, women abuse, blah, 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 blah. You see that a lot of effort is concentrated on training the girl child, while the boy child is just allowed to fiddle around life. He has a sense of entitlement right from cradle.
All right, I think I'll pick that sense of entitlement, which is something, but over time we'll talk about one. I hope we'll be able to get back to it. But then I'll throw this to Baba Slum. Now, when it comes to the cultural and the religious limitation, now, I don't know if we can actually put the blame on some religious leaders in terms of, having to put our people right when it comes to, not being a stereotype when it comes to a girl child, and then they have to be in a certain way and the male child in a certain way. So how would you say the culture and the religious limitation comes in at this point?
Okay, I think I have a problem with the way people interpret some of our scripture in both the Bible and the Quran. And you see, I try as much as possible to do justice to this anytime I can write one or two things. Now, you see, in the place where people come to tell me that the only reason why a woman should be under a man is because when God created Adam and Eve, he allowed Adam to sleep off, and then he took the rib of Adam to create Eve. Meaning that God can actually create Eve on her own, but because he wants her to be a subject under Adam. That's why, see, there's so many misconceptions that needs to be corrected, especially in our religion setting. Now, most of the people who even brought this religion to us didn't enslave their own women. And then when you go back to history, our culture truly allows men to go out there, work, and then our mothers are at home waiting for food and all that. But the question is how far has it grown us as a society? We keep recycling this mentality of men should always be the only one who should rule, especially in the house. And you see, that's why we have so many marriages crashing these days. You will see people who should sit together talk. Ego is there to say, I'm a man, I cannot allow a woman to tell me that she wants to go out to work. And I say this so many times, that when in moment you are dating somebody and then it starts from relationship, when you talk about culture, people come together, it's relating. But then by the time you come together with somebody who does not have the same mindset with you, the same vision, the same orientation, it's always a problem.
All right, Baba Slum, actually at this point in time, knowing that it starts from relationship again, but then we have to go on this very short commercial break, because this bill needs to be played, and we'll be right back. Do not change that dial. Do know the number to call is 0810-850-1371, or you send a message to WhatsApp number on 091-6737-5588.
Madam, ẹ ṣì wà ń bí ni, ó mà ti ju wákàtí kan lọ, ẹran tí ẹ rà má lè bàjẹ́.
Àǹtí, mo ṣì wà níbí yìí o, wọ́n dẹ̀ ti yọ owó nínú àkáǹtì mi, ṣùgbọ́n ẹlẹ́rọ ò tí ì rí ìfiránṣẹ́ ìyọwó náà. Báwo gan-an lẹ̀yin ṣe fi owó ti yín ránṣẹ́?
Ní kíákíá ni ìfowóránṣẹ́ tèmi máa ń lọ, látìgbà tí mo ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lo Pay Attitude app àti *569#.
Èwo tún nìyẹn o?
Pay attitude ò lẹ́gbẹ́ tí a bá sọ̀rọ̀ apple tàbí ussd code tí ó máa ń fini lọ́kànbalẹ̀ tí a bá fẹ́ fi owó ránṣẹ́ tàbí tí o bá fẹ́ gbowó kíákíá láti inú àkáǹtì rẹ tàbí ní ilé ìfowópamọ́ oríṣiríṣi. O sì tún lè fi sanwó lórí POS àti ayélujára. O lè fi gba owó nídìí ATM tàbí lọ́wọ́ agent ní ilé ìtajà. Ó rọrùn láti lò. Ẹ tẹ *569# tàbí kí ẹ download Pay Attitude app sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yín. Ó ń ṣiṣẹ́ gidi gan-an ni.
Pay Attitude. Sanwó pẹ̀lú phone number.
You're about to close the deal of a lifetime, and suddenly, your phone goes off because your battery is low. There's a hot gist in town, and just when you're about to hear it, your smartphone disappoints you. Oh, not again. Even worse, you're about to get that yes, but they can't reach you. No smartphone guarantees you your dream like the itel P40. With just one charge of its mega 6000 mAh battery, power is yours for 3 days. Also get 5 GB from Airtel for just 1,000 Naira when you buy itel P40 and activate it with an Airtel 4G SIM card. SMS GET to 141 to get this offer. itel P40, one charge for 3 days.
Ìfẹ́ tí kò lábàwọ́n ni ìfẹ́ ìyá jẹ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ kò sí ohun tó dùn tó bíi Indomie alájẹpọnu lákọlọ. Nítorí náà, fi ìfẹ́ hàn pẹ̀lú Indomie.
Do note the number to call is 0810-8501-371, or you send a message to a WhatsApp number on 091-6737-5588. And we have been talking about, we're having a breakdown of the main issues affecting the girl child in Nigeria. And Babasam was actually talking about the cultural and religious limitation and also misinterpretation. But please go on.
So now, when you talk about the culture, we really need to understand that the Stone Age is different from 21st century. So you can't expect the fact that my mother didn't go to school, and then she was doing buying and selling, and then you can tag her as a successful woman. You are telling me in 21st century, where women are going into tech, going into all manner of beautiful things to build life and contributing to the society, that I should also go the same way as my mother, giving me an example of, but she didn't go to school now. Did she do well? We must learn to understand eras, seasons, how things work. So culturally, I think we really need to do well to advocate more among our what is the name? Our traditional rulers. Because yes, most times when these things happen, you see they are always the one there to judge some of these cases and intervene. And then when you come to religion aspect, we really need to go back and talk to our religious leaders. Where a woman comes to you to tell you that my husband is maltreating me, and you keep preaching to such person to stay in such marriage, especially when it comes to verbal abuse and all sorts of abuse. So by the time we are able to what's the name? Help in these situations that has to do with skilled actors of these two sectors, then we will be able to fix things.
All right.
Especially our traditional leaders and also our religious leaders.
All right, thank you so much. Now, again, you made mention of something that's understanding era and season. I want to ask you, Matt, do you agree with that?
Yes, you know, the time when we were growing up, gender-based violence became a norm. It's a time when if anything is going wrong, your mother tells you to make do with it. The culture of silence was entrenched then. But now we're in the era of breaking the glasses, and we're speaking out. And we're even calling out the enablers of cultural violence. And who are those enablers? The cultural background of each society we stay in is an enabling factor. Religion has become an enabling factor. The silence of the culture of silence has become an enabling factors, and so many other things. So when you're talking about era, yes, very in time past, when you're talking about the eras of our parents, it's only few of them that are educated, a small percentage of it. But now we're talking about an era whereby education is compulsory. If you are not educated, some people see that you can't even do well in life in this particular age that we are. So the narrative must change. People must begin to look at things in a forward progression now. We can't stay back in the old age and we're expecting different changes compared to what we have now. So yes, I believe that we're in different times and we're in different era.
All right, thank you so much. But now let's go to the insurgency happening. In 2001, just that year alone, there were 25 terrorist attacks on schools. A total of 1,440 children were abducted, 16 children were killed, and again in March 2021 still, about 618 schools were shut down in Sokoto, Zamfara, Kano, Katsina, Niger, and Yobe State over the fears of attack and abduction of pupils and members of staff. Now, how as insurgency as it has come to play, definitely, but again, what can you say when it comes to insurgency having been a major effect? That's talking about the main issue affecting a girl child now. So how would you say insurgency has played a part now?
Basically, I would say that it has actually limited the girl child. It's for some, it has cut off their lifeline. When you look at, take for instance, the Chibok girls, there are some of them that they've not been returned back to their parents, and they've actually been given wrong indoctrination. Even if they are peradventure rescued, are they normal anymore? What happens to that space of 2-3 years of different indoctrination? What is going to be the perception to a country that has the resources to rescue them, but was not able to demobilize that resources effectively? So when you look at it, it has failed the girl child. Now, insurgency has actually created a lot of burden on mothers. It has taken their husbands, it has taken their children, it has taken their livelihood. For some of them, it has created an irrevocable damage. Some will never be able to see their children anymore. Some have been left with permanent scars that are. So when you're talking about it, the girl child and the women are actually majorly on the receiving side of the insurgency. Now, because now when you're looking at it, is that it? Yes, the men that are affected, people that died, you understand, yes, they are part of a family. But when you look at it, a woman that has like 8 children, the breadwinner is taken away, maybe 2-3 other children dies, and she has to live for the remaining children. She has to take a decision, a decisive decision, to face all odds, even when all hopes are blink. So it's actually taking a toll on women and children.
All right, taking a toll. Thank you so much. And again to Baba Slum this time around, how well can parents now be of impact when it comes to the collective effort now, having to make sure all these things are out of place? Although this insurgency majorly, I guess this will have to, or I feel we have to push this to the government, because the government has to be in place to make sure we have this reduced. And we're hoping the next government that's coming in May 29 will do much better, so we can have a greater Nigeria. Hopefully, I'm praying so. But now, how would you say the impact of parents when it comes to all these issues we've been talking about? There are some that I've not actually talked about. That's talking about the poverty, the illiteracy, and the early marriage and the likes. We haven't spoken about that, but because of our time is why I have to put them on the sideline. And I want us to talk majorly on the child rights too, but then which we're coming to. But again, now the impact of parents when it comes to all this, their collective effort, not saying the women has to do this in man, but then having the two of them come together to implement this.
Well, I believe that in every society, parenting is a key thing that I so much believe in. Parenting, family. You see those two things? They are key things. And then you see, in Nigeria, or in Africa, let me use Africa as a case study here. I think we lack this ability to portray good parenting to some very large extent. When I mean good parenting, most times we don't want to hear or even give freedom of expression to children to know, okay, what does this person have to say? And that is one of the problems we have today. You see, most children growing up, at least a child that can start speaking, tell you that this is my right hand, should be able to tell you that this is what is going on with me. Okay. But by the time you shut such child up,
talk too much,
and then you are like you make statement like you talk too much, you do this too much. Why would you still be in school at this so time? When you know that, of course, most parents will say, you're supposed to run the business of the family. You know that you are supposed to be here to sell at this time, and then you are in school and all that. The question is that before we had these children, we prepared for parenting. And let me tell most young people who are going to come together and say, as much as they are preparing for marriage and preparing for wedding gathering family, prepare for family life.
Okay.
Because that contributes a lot to the society. Parents should know when to talk to their children. They should know when to allow their children to talk. They should give children the best of what parenting can be. Moral training is another key thing that should go into parenting these days. If you look at this generation, I have to start calling. In fact, sometimes I have to start asking myself, is this the kind of parenting we had? No. You see, some children will do some things, and then you will see, they will say, and then when they do that thing, and then you even call them to correct them. You see parents who even come to. As a teacher, I was a teacher at some point, and then there was a case where a parent was raining verbal insults directed to me. I didn't know because I was paying attention to something else. And then I look back and I'm like, this is me this person is talking about. Had the school, aloma lu, abi aloma paroma omo, aloma shigbe, I know that. And I walked up to her, Mama, if this is the way you train your children, I think there's so many things wrong. These children, do they tell you that they don't even stay in class? Have they ever told you that at the point where their mates are learning, they are outside the school? So most of the times, parents aid some of the problems that children constitute in the society. Why do you think a 14-year-old boy will have the boldness to start smoking? Because his father is the one sending him cigarettes. Why do you think a girl of 15 will go into prostitution? Because she sees her mom with different men coming into the house as at when she was age 8. And then you think these children are not watching. You think they are not learning. By the time they start doing it, and you as a parent now realize your mistake in life, you cannot correct them anymore. And in terms of education, most parents believe that it is not their right to educate their children, and then they push those such child, you will make and all that. I think it is another thing that we should mention now, that as a mother, as a father, it is your responsibility to train your child. Lastly, please, another thing that you should know as a parent is that whatever your problem is in marriage has no business to do with the child.
Thank you, sir.
We have a lot of broken homes that are causing problems not just for the children but for the society, because two wrong people came together to make two wrong decisions. There is a problem coming on the child, and then you, as a mother, you start telling her, "Now I'm not married. At least, even if you're out of your marriage, you can leave. If a man misbehaves, you can leave at any time."
All right, thank you.
So I'll just stop there.
We need to go on this very short break again, and when we come back, I need to get the view of Ms. Folashade on this one when it comes to collective effort of parents. But then we'll be right back after this very short break.
Better people, announcement. This one loud. Now so if you MTN don't land with another jollyment arrangement to Totori you. With just 53,000 naira pere, MTN go sama you the new Nokia C21 4G smartphone with 1 gigabyte data and 100% bonus on top any data bundle where you buy for the next 6 months. Sharp. The phone battery dey strong, it dey last longer, and the design fine well. You go fit use your fingerprint and face to lock and unlock the phone anytime, anywhere. Even self, you fit pay small, because MTN love you and won't make your life easy. No carry last, no dull yourself, just enter any MTN shop near you. Make you get your own before you finish. Better things no dey waste time, Remember, terms and conditions dey sha. MTN, wetin we dey do today?
What is my favorite food? Is it my mom's delicious miyan kuka or our incredible dafadika? I don't have a favorite food because everything my mom makes is great. And our secret is Maggi Star, which is made from soya beans and other ingredients. Maggi, cook the difference.
You're still on to Vocal Point on Royal FM 95.1 in Lorry, and I am Monica Babatunde, and I still have my guest in the house. And before we went on that break, Baba Slum talked about the impact now of children. There's a collective effort, but then I want Ms. Falashade to actually give us our opinion when it comes to this one very briefly.
Yes, I agree with a lot of things that he has said, and I think that training up a child is a collective responsibility.
Okay.
If the father says yes, the mother too must say yes. Particularly when it comes to disciplining a child. You see a mother who say, don't worry, you let your daddy come. Now she makes the daddy looks like a monster, and she's a safe space. And so every other time the child believes that she can get away with anything with the mom. It's only the daddy that is the terror in the house. But you know, when she knows that it is a no-go area for the two of them, she will cop the excesses. And that is relating to every aspect. It is morally wrong for a mother to follow a child down to school and insult a teacher in a child's presence. Yes, we also have cases of teachers that do things in excesses. But you know, growing up, you dare not even tell your parents that a teacher beat you in school. It is double wahala for the body. You understand the scene? Yes. Because number one, you must explain what you did. But now you see the parents taking the bold step to slap a teacher in front of a child. And you know, this like he says, these children, they learn under it and they take a lot of things for granted and says, what? Some will even tell you, hey, don't talk to me anyhow. My mommy doesn't talk to me like that. You understand? So grooming up a child, allowing a safe space for children is a collective responsibility for all the major stakeholders.
All right, thank you so much, Ma, for your take. Now, this will lead us to the Child Rights Act, and I had to read about it, and at some point, I even watched a video where a man was saying, when it comes to breastfeeding a child, some women do not know it is an offense knowing you're not breastfeeding your child, which is very wrong. But again, this leads us to the question of, can it be domesticated, the Child Rights Act? Because, again, knowing there are some things we do on the daily basis and it's not been implemented, but then meanwhile it's an offense. But then knowing, okay, we are in Nigeria, you might actually not be held accountable when it comes to some of these offenses. But again, how can, do you think some of these child acts can actually be domesticated on a day-to-daily basis?
Yes, the Child Rights Act is in Kwara State is actually domesticated.
Okay.
Yes, you understand. But it is the full implementation that is the problem. Does the government even have the mechanism to carry out the dictates of the law? Do we have functional shelter? Do we have the different key operators working effectively to get the desired rule? Okay. So when you're talking about domestication of the child right now, yes, in like 24 states it's been domesticated, but has it stopped child abuse? Has it stop the so many forms of malnutrition, maltreatment against the girl child and the boy child? No. Rather, it is on the rise every day. Now, you now begin to question why. It is about government taking its stand on some certain laws. Okay. When people say, when you know that if I violate a child, I will go to jail. And there's no other two ways about it. Look at Lagos State. Lagos State has wonderful laws. And they even have a legal team. That there are some cases you can't even do pro bono for it. There are some cases a lawyer cannot even go and take. When you go and take such case, it is you against the world. So if government is taking decisive actions about some certain things, bringing perpetrators to book, and melting out the exact punishment to them, it will stop prospective violators from wanting to take the step. But you know, you see a man rapes a minor, and you see the family going to the police station and bringing one magaji or one chief and says, we don't want the name of the family to be spoiled, forgetting that a little girl is a victim. And yes, the major actors now, the law enforcement agencies, the traditional stoods that are custodians and should also be one of the key actors, they sweep it under the floor because they want to save name, forgetting that a girl's life is at risk. So when we are talking about the domestication, it goes beyond that. It is about the full implementation of the law to take its course. Then everything would work in the way it should.
All right, and this is to Baba Slum now, knowing that when it comes to this, right, although we're still going to based on education now, we'll still have to talk about the out of school children. But now, why do we have the major focus out of all these laws now? I've come to realize that the focus has been on the education. That's education of a child, education of a girl child. But then we have that focus majorly on it. Why is it so?
Well, excuse me, please. I think Nigeria as a country has a lot of laws. In fact, we have beautiful laws. Check all our laws. You will see this and then you will see that intellectuals will gather, sit down to make laws. But do you know where I have the problem? Where I have the problem is that go and check most of the violators of this law. Who are the violators of this law? Who are the people who would put a 9-year-old girl in their house as a slave, as a housemaid, and then in turn beat such child when the child is not doing what they pay her parents to do? Who are the people who will go to court to defend a rapist? A child abuser. Who are the same people who will gather family and friends to say, let's go and plead? I know Lagbaja, I know Magistrate Lagbaja, I know Lagbaja, let me just go and meet the person. There are ways and manners we can approach this person. Who are the people? Are there people in the village? Most of the people in the village, like recently, there was a case in Lagos where a pastor was involved with 2 brothers, had been all manner of nonsense with them. And then I took up the case, I transferred it to a friend over there, and the woman is doing so well, and then the case is in court and all that. And the pastor called her and was saying, if the Bible says that if 2 men are caught together, why they punish the offender, they should also punish the victim. I said, okay, just give me his number. And I called him. I had to quote like 4 scriptures. And he started pleading. I said, because the wrath of God even mentioned his wrath. So why are we saying this is that most of the people who even involved in this offense are people who are also major actors in creating these laws. Then what are we saying? So when we now talk about domesticating some of these laws, it's not about domesticating it alone. like she rightly said, do we have resources in place to make sure these things work? If a child is raped today, and then such child needs to we need to save the face of such child from stigmatization.
Where do
we take her to?
You still take her back.
Aside that, psychologically, do we have
psychosocial
help for her? You know, until we have all these things in place, that's why we can say we have a child right loafer. Because if we don't have them in place, we keep anybody can domesticate a law. I can choose to make a law in my house, and then, you know, if it's my house. But the question is that the government should put in place professionals, a functional system that makes this work. It will not only help the government, it will help children to know that they are in a safe society. Where we keep mentioning Lagos because the law is in place. Even if the present government lives there are still people in positions for continuity of such. So if other states will also follow suit, we would not only have the laws on the child right law focusing on education alone. It will also talk about the freedom of a child.
The right of
the girl child generally, and the child.
All right. Thank you so much, Baba Slam. We need to go on this very short break again, and afterwards we have the studio line opened. That's for you to hear your opinion and to tell us your take on what we're talking about today. And again, you can send messages on our WhatsApp number on 091 6737 5588. 091 6737 5588.
What is my favorite food? Is it my mom's delicious miyan kuka or our incredible dafadika? I don't have a favorite food because everything my mom makes is great. And our secret is Maggi Star, which is made from soya beans and other ingredients. Maggi, cook the difference.
Hello, children. It's time to get ready for the NAPS Children's Day Celebration 2023. Brought to you by the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, NAPS. It's gonna be a day filled with fun, laughter, and excitement. And it's happening on Saturday, 27th of May, 2023 at the Kwara State Stadium, Mimbo, starting at 7 a.m. Get ready to witness an incredible march past, bouncing castles, cultural dances, and choreography. But that's not all. There's a quiz competition for primary and secondary categories with amazing prizes to be won by the winners. All schools are invited with a gate fee of only 1,000 naira per school. Grab a t-shirt for your child for just 2,000 naira. For more information, please call 0803-390-6916 or the chairman of the planning committee, Comrade Kolawole Olaniwaju, on 0803-446-1393. Announcer Prince Otola Olayinka, PRO NAPS. Let's give our children a day to remember.
Gbogbo wa la ní irú ọjọ́ ọ̀la tó ń wá, ìpele kan tó kàn láti ibi tá a wà, àmúṣe ọjọ́ ọ̀la tó dára ju tòní lọ, àti àǹfààní tá a ní láti ṣe wọ́n láṣeyọrí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ojú inú wa ṣe gbòòrò tó. Tẹra mọ́ fífi ojú inú wò ó ní báyìí tó ní àǹfààní láti ṣe.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
It doesn't really matter about the rain, 'cause we'll get through it anyway. We'll get up and start again, 'cause we could be lifted, lifted, lifted. We could be lifted from the shadow, lifted. Oh, we could be lifted up today, lifted all the way.
All right at this moment, the studio line is open, and the number to call is 0810-8501-371. 0810-8501-371 is the number to call to hear your opinion. And also, you can send in message or WhatsApp number on 091-6737-5588. 091-6737-5588. You can also watch us live on our Facebook page at Royal FM 951 is the handle. You can as well drop your comment right right there. And again, the number to call 0810-850-1371. Before I ask my analyst in the house another question, because there's this usual saying that we have, which is about the fact that children are the elixir of the future. That's talking about the magic potion that we believe will change things around in the world. So knowing that children are that, how well can we believe this is? But then before that, let's pick this call. Hello, you're welcome on Vocal Points. Good morning. Good morning, sir. What's your name? Yes, this is Royal FM. Okay, is this Mr. Rotimi from Moro? All right, you're welcome on the show. We're talking about the gout child, as talking about the issues that affected them, and also the.
Without wasting much of our time, my contribution this morning is that we need to try getting the right person and the right president. If a president would tell Nigeria that if any trouble, anybody trouble in the future, no chicken we need to learn our lesson. It's a great lesson to us that we have somebody here who is not really clear about Nigeria. They come in, they have their friend in business, they have another country into business, what kind of thing. You know what for Nigeria? Okay. So telling us that we are bringing best to Nigeria, we need to watch out.
All right.
For all our leaders.
All right, Mr. Rotimi. Mr. Rotimi, are you with me, sir? All right. All right.
I don't have light for the batteries in my house, so I'm just monitoring my own ratio and my share.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Rotimi. Well, I see Mr. Rotimi is deviating from the topic we're having today, and that's to say, well, he's probably paid about the condition of the country, Nigeria. But today we are focusing on the children, and again, remember, May 27 is Children's Day, and we have to talk about our children, talk about the girl child as well. That's placing more focus on them. Well, I'm sure he's talking about his pain, actually, but then
and he's entitled to it.
Okay, the number to call is still 0810-850-1371, 0810-850-1371. So I was talking about a certain question before we end the show. We have less than 4 minutes to end the show, but then let's talk about the fact that, okay, how affirmative is the statement when it comes to children are the elixir of the future? Let me in brief words and in brief words.
You know, much as I want to believe it, I think that the government is actually doing a lot to destroy this future of. When you look at the content that you see, music, film, things that garbage, the garbage that they push to them, then you are wary for the future. You become very, very scared. Because at the time I was asking, is there a censorship board? What is the NBC doing? And blah, 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 blah. People that are supposed to censor content that they are pushing to this fresh mind. So, because it goes beyond education. It goes beyond what they are taught in school. What they are taught in school is minimal. The kind of movie that they watch, the kind of music that they listen to, and that particular music, what is the content of the message passed?
Okay.
It influenced a lot of their decisions. It influenced their dressing. It influenced so many things. So yes, much as I would want to believe that they are the future, this future are being eroded and they are being tinted with messages that they are not even supposed to have access to.
All right, thank you so much. Baba Salam, your take on this one.
Okay, that's from the angle of the government. From the angle of the parents, you know, I'm so particular. You know, I told you I'm somebody who lost family, and you see, training, upbringing will determine where your child will end up. And then you see, most parents make a lot of mistake of training children who are still children in the mindset of an adult. Until we understand that let children be children when they are children, and when they are adults, they are adults. We may also push them too much that they lose focus of what the future looks like or what they want to do in the future. For me, I would have ended up like as a mechanic. Yes. My dad would always say, you just get something to learn. As much as I don't have any problem with a handwork, but inside me, I know the moment I started making money from that place, nobody will tell me to go back to school. I didn't. In fact, there was a time he took me to where I'm going to learn, and I ran away from there, and I never returned. So you see, we really need to understand what the future actually means. Not just because you see somebody doing well in the oil sector, you believe that your child will end up in the oil sector. And when such child